Hello students, welcome to my channel. Today I am going to discuss about types of exceptions. So in the previous class I have discussed about introduction to exception handling. Okay, so in this particular video I am going to discuss about predefined exceptions and user defined exceptions. Okay, first of all, predefined exceptions. So predefined means already defined exceptions are known as predefined exceptions. The exceptions which are raised automatically by Python virtual machine whenever a particular event occur is called predefined exception. For example, if you are performing 10 divisible by 0, so is it possible? No, it is an runtime error. So Python will automatically generate zero division error. So that zero division error is known as predefined exception. For example, if you are trying to uh, add two numbers, one is 10 and another one is t and 10. Okay, so 10 is a integer, t and 10 is a string. So it is not possible to combine one integer and one string. Then it will display value error. Okay, so that value error is known as predefined exceptions. Okay, so let's see the list of predefined exceptions. The first one is arithmetic exception. So this exception is raised when an error in numerical calculation occur. Okay, so when numerical calculation occur any error, then it will display arithmetic error. Next one is index error. So this exception is raised when an index of sequence is out of range. For example, it contains only two indexes, 10 and 20. So index always starts with 0 1. So if you are trying to access third index value, but third index value is not there, in that case it will display index error. Next one is key error. So this exception is raised when a key is not found in dictionary. Okay, so dictionary is available keys and values. Yes, dictionary contain key and value. Suppose the key is 1 and the value is Ramu. Okay, so if you are trying to access, if you are trying to use a key which is not found in dictionary, then it will generate key error. And next one is a name error. Okay, so when a variable is not defined and you are trying to access that variable, then it will rise name error. For example, if you want to print x value, okay, print x, but x is not defined, so then it will print name error. Next one is zero division error. So I already explained 10 divided by 0. So number divisible by 0 is not possible. Then in that case it will display zero division error. Okay, so the next one is import error. Okay, so this exception is raised when the imported module cannot be found. Okay, so we have a math module and random module. Yes, but you are trying to import the module which is not existed, then it will display import error. Okay, next one is floating point error. So this exception is raised when a floating point calculations fails. Next one is type error. So this exception is raised when an operation performed on invalid data types. So I already explained 10 plus 10. Okay, so 10 is an integer, t and 10 is a string. It is not possible to combine one integer and one string. Then it will display type error. Next one is value error. So this exception is raised when a built-in functions for data type has invalid of arguments, but the argument has invalid values specified. Okay, so here it contains a comma b, but you are giving only one value, so 10 is stored in this. Next it will display value error because b is not assigned to any value. Okay, so let's see. So these are all predefined exceptions. Okay, so in the last class I have discussed about predefined exception examples. Okay, so next one is user defined exceptions. Okay, So the exceptions that are defined and raised explicitly to indicate that something goes wrong. Such type of exceptions are called user defined exception. For example, if you are trying to set one password, okay, so if you are trying to set one password for Instagram or Facebook, okay, so if you are giving the values, if you are giving the password like this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, okay, so automatically it will display one exception. The password must contain one alphabet, one uppercase letter and one lowercase letters and one digit. Yes, so in that case you will give the stu at 999. So if you given like this, it will take it. Okay. So these are known as. So here if you given 1 2 3 4 7 8, okay, it will display one message. That message is known as user defined exception. Okay. So let's see how to define user defined exceptions. Okay. So every exception in Python is a class. Every exception in a Python is a class. What is a class? Class is a blueprint which contains variables and functions. Okay, so class is a blueprint which contains variables and functions. Okay, so every exception in Python is a class. What is class contain? Class contains variables and methods. Methods and functions both are same. That extends an exception of class either directly or indirectly. Okay, so let's see here the syntax to declare user defined exceptions. Class, class name, next predefined exception class name. Okay, so predefined exception class name, whether this class is a subclass of predefined exception class. Okay, so we already have classes zero division exception, value exception. You want to create subclass from this superclass. Okay, so if you want to create, you can give the superclass name. So I already explained those superclasses are, these are all superclasses: arithmetic error, index error, key error, name error. Okay, you can give these names in the place of predefined exception class name. Okay, so next, inside class it contains one constructor. I will explain later class object constructor topics. Okay, so let just remember the syntax here. Def init self comma args. So this is a method. Okay, so normally class is nothing but which contains variables and functions. So this is one function. Okay, so this function is known as constructor. Next, self dot message is equals to arg. So in this way you need to create one class. Okay, so let's see the example. Class 2 less marks exception. Okay, class name is 2 less marks exception. You need to remember class name must contain every word capital. Okay, every word starting letter should be capital. So that's why 2 less marks exception. So this class is a subclass for the superclass is exception. So I am deriving 2 less marks exception from exception class. Okay, uh, if you have any idea about inheritance topic, you can get this. So what is inheritance? Inheritance is nothing but deriving a subclass from superclass. Yes, so why we are deriving? If you deriving the subclass from superclass, you can access the properties of subclass as well as superclass. So I am deriving 2 less marks exception subclass from exception superclass. So if you are deriving like this, you can access the properties of 2 less marks exception class as well as exception class. Okay, so next, def init self args and self message is equals to arg. You need to remember this syntax. So let's see the example. Okay, now you can raise an exception by using the raise keyword as follows. So raise is a keyword, it is used to raise an exception. So you are raising an exception to 2 less marks exception. Next, you can specify the message here. Okay, so let's see the example for better understanding. Here the classes, I am defining two classes. Okay, so one class is class name, and here superclass name. Superclass name is exception. Next def init, sorry, here init, def init self args. Okay, so I am defining two classes. Okay, so next marks is equals to int input of enter marks. Okay, so we all know marks are in range 0 to 100. So if the user given 120, this is invalid. If the user given -7, it is also invalid. Yes, yes. Okay, so let's see. For example, if user given marks are 120, okay, so first I am checking whether marks are greater than or equals to 75. Okay, so if the marks are greater than or equals to 75, rise two more marks exceptions. Okay, so two more exception is a class. Okay, so it will go to this, and it will print the message marks are two more, enter less marks less than 75, enter the marks less than 75. So this message is passed to arg. Okay, so whatever the message in arg, that will be displayed. Okay, if you enter the marks greater than 75, you can specify here marks 100 also. Okay, so next, if the user given the marks -15, okay, so next here it checks if the marks greater than or equals to 75. No, greater than or equals to 75 is false. Then it goes to next. If marks less than 75, yes, marks are less than 75. Then it tries an exception to two less marks. Okay, then it will go to this, and whatever you specify the message, that will go to arg, and whatever in arg, that will be displayed. Marks are too less, enter valid marks greater than 0. Okay, so in this way. So if you given the marks 50, okay, so first condition is checked, marks greater than or equals to 75, it is false, then it goes to else. If marks less than 0, it is also false, then it goes to else, print you will get marks through email. So in this way you can define user defined exceptions. Okay, so I hope it is clear. So what are the types of exceptions? Predefined exception. If you want predefined exception example, you can watch in previous video. Okay, so user defined exceptions, how to define user defined exceptions, and what is the syntax, what is the example, and how to raise the exception. If you have any doubt regarding to this video, please comment me in the comment section. For more videos, please subscribe my channel. Thank you.